Hi, how you guys doing? Today's video, well, let me tell you, I had some free time in Pachanga, when I was doing a show there. So I got hold of Jimmy, my old friend, my good friend, who's a drummer of the band. Now, Jimmy is a living legend, here in Singapore, as well as in Asia, I guess. He plays a whole lot of shows, he does a whole lot of sessions in his 40 years career as a musician. So I thought it would be interesting if I get hold of him and ask him some questions, which I think will be interesting to us guitarists or to any musician for all that matter. So check it out. Jimmy has, has done so many things in his career. He played in so many shows, countless, literally countless. He does shows in Hong Kong, in China, in Singapore, Malaysia. And he's one of the most sought after drummers, local drummers in Singapore. I first met him back in 1980, 85, 86, 85, when I was playing in this big night spot. Which features a whole lot of international bands as well as good local bands, and this is where I first met him. He came across as a very serious musician, he said and smiled, but through the years as I got to know him, he's a sweetheart, and yeah, that's Jimmy. And I toured with him extensively for Betty's shows, which I've done. Some shows where I'm the music director, he'll be my first call. And there's nothing like working with a experienced drummer who knows how to kind of like gel and pull the music in together. Sometimes drummers can be on their own trip, but it's hard. It's really hard to find a drummer that plays with the band. In fact, it's hard to find musicians that plays with the band. But there are musicians out there, and I'm proud to say that in Singapore we have a couple of those. But Jimmy is the one who keeps the band together with his immaculate timing and his wonderful feel, his wonderful drum feels and stuff like that. There's always a saying that drummers get all the chicks, but Well, I'm gonna ask him about this because, as far as I'm concerned, I think guitarists do have the fair share. But in any case, that's a joke that we share among one another. So that's Jimmy for you, and I think some of his advice that he gave, applies to us guitarists as well, to any musicians, in the music industry, about. What do you think about practicing and honing in your trade and keeping time and stuff like that. So great advice from a veteran musician. How long have you been in the industry?
Well, I've been in this music business for about 40 years or so, and started right after when I finished my studies. And then I started teaching, and then from then on I moved on to playing in a club, and then do recording shows, and then it was all the way the same business throughout in my career.
What are the challenges of working in the industry like this?
Oh, well, working in this industry, we have to always keep up our standard, keep practicing, and we cannot relax because in order to get into the scene, you got to keep up your standard. If not, other people will overtake you, and then you'll be behind.
Who are your favorite drummers?
I have a few favorite drummers, but the one that that inspired me was the guy from New York, Steve Gadd. And the drummers that I really like are these: Steve Gadd, of course, Vinny, and Dave Wacko. These are the three that great influence to me.
What do you think you can gain by listening to your favorite drummers?
Actually, basically what happened was the inspiration they gave me made me want to learn new things, and I gained a lot from their ideas, the way they articulate, the way they play, how they apply them to the music. And from then on, I started studying their work, and from there I get more ideas from there and improve from there. That's why I gained so much from them. And I told myself that I must go to States to study how they create things like this. There are always formulas to it.
So what's the difference between playing in the recording studio as opposed to playing in a live situation?
Okay, now the difference is quite big, especially, for me, I'm a session musician. So when I do recording for an artist, I cannot overplay because I'm backing up a singer. So there are many times where I want to do something wild. The producer will say, do it simple, because I'm backing up a singer. But if I'm recording with a band, as a band itself, I can do something a little bit more, not in the book, that kind of thing. But in concert-wise, I can play as much as I can. I mean, there's not much of a restriction. You just have to play it out. That's the difference. Whereas in recording, sometimes when you play for a singer, is a bit restricted in that sense.
Is keeping in time important?
Timekeeping is the most important thing. Oh, definitely. Time is definitely number one key to being a good drummer, because it will be easier for the singer to sing. And being a good drummer doesn't mean anything else, but really to be a good timekeeper. That's what's important. Yeah.
Do you believe in the saying that less is more?
Less is more. Well, I do, because simplicity is always the best, right? It's effective. Yeah.
What are some of the advices that you would give to a new drummer?
Well, it's not only to a new drummer. Actually, my advice to all new musicians and drummer, of course, is to keep practicing and have a good attitude towards your work. In whatever you do, have a good attitude and be humble. That's what I always say to everybody.
How about practice?
Practice, of course, we have to spend as much time as we can. Sometimes when we're on the road or in a hotel, you can always practice. Or maybe you have a tough time, tough schedule, try to practice at least an hour a day or so to keep your hands going, working. That's important.
Would you change to, like, say, another profession?
Well, that's tough for me to say, because at the moment I'm managing a school. So maybe if I stop playing, then I would just continue managing a school till I retire.
So tell me a little bit about your school.
Okay, now the school that I'm managing is called the Music Lab, and it's actually a pop school where I have vocals, guitar, bass, drums, piano, that kind of studies there, and quite a bit of students that's coming in right now. And
do you give private lessons?
Most of the lessons there in the school are one-on-one. So whenever they sign up, is always most of the time is always one-on-one these days. Yeah, very few group lessons, but group lessons can happen maximum 2 or 3. Yeah.
Last question. How does it feel to be on the road?
Okay, it's nice to be on the road, because especially when we are playing for a singer, a nice singer, good singer, and also the bonding with the band, with the other musicians, is always a key, and it's nice to be with when you have a band that is very close together, and it's like brothers. That's important.
Thank you, Jimmy.
You're most welcome. Pleasure.
So I want to thank Jimmy Lee for the interview. I think it's hard to nail down a good musician and picking his brain. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you do, give me a thumbs up, and feel free to subscribe to this channel. And if you press that bell, you'll be notified of any new videos that comes out in the future. So in the meantime, you guys take care and keep time. Ciao.